Hi, and welcome to lesson number 7 of the Fundamentals of Slovenian Grammar course. So today we are continuing on the topic of base form, of our base form. But before we learn some new things about it today, I'd like us to just very briefly review what we've touched on so far. We have our two worlds, the world of nouns, the world of verbs, all of the grammatical properties, and then we have word types and those are our properties. And then we said that if we compare the two languages, that we said that there are no less than 18 different versions of dog in Slovenian. So we have 6 versions of one dog, 6 versions of exactly 2 dogs, and 6 versions of 3 dogs. And then we also did a verb to go in Slovenian. We have I go, you go, he, she goes. But then we also have the two of us go, the two of you go, the two of them go. And we have we go, you go, and they go. So this is all just to kind of, just to review how much more complicated Slovenian is when compared to English. And so we said that all words that change have a base form. And so both noun-like words have a base form and verbs have a base form. And today we'll have a look at that in a bit more detail. So if we have a look at our overview, at our diagram again, let's review the fact that gender and number and case together is, we call those the big 3. Those are the 3 important grammatical characteristics shared by all nouns and adjectives and pronouns. So even though there are some exceptions that are very, very rare, for all practical purposes, there is no noun and no adjective and no pronoun in Slovenian that does not have a certain gender and number and case, or that cannot be described in terms of those 3 categories. And so what we will do now is we will think of the base form in terms of the big 3, because if no noun or adjective or pronoun can kind of escape the big 3, if all of them have the big 3, then the base form has to somehow have to do with the big 3. And so let's have a look at that. So again, the big 3 are 3 important properties of noun-like words. Noun-like words are nouns, adjectives, and pronouns, and the big 3 are gender, number, and case. Okay, perfect. Now, let's think of each of those 3 separately when it comes to the base form. So when it comes to the base form and gender, we don't really have a choice with nouns. So nouns are inherently and by default either masculine or feminine or neuter, and there's nothing we can do about it. Now, when it comes to adjectives, however, the base form is in the masculine. So adjectives do not have a gender of their own. Adjectives are kind of like chameleons, and they will just adapt to the environment that they find themselves in. So the adjective kind of takes on or shares all of the exact same grammatical characteristics as the noun it describes. So, for example, in Slovenian, house is feminine. So if we say big house, the big in big house has to be feminine as well. However, apartment in Slovenian is neuter. And so if we say big apartment, then the big in big apartment has to be neuter as well. And the same goes for number, and the same goes for case. If the noun is 2 of something, the adjective has to be in its 2 of something form as well. And the same for cases. If the noun is in the genitive case for a particular reason, the adjective has to be in the same case as well. And we call this agreement. And the adjective agrees with the noun it modifies, and we will touch on agreement in much more detail in future lessons. But the point now is that there is no, that kind of an adjective always needs a noun to guide it, to tell it what form to be in. And so the question, of course, is, well, what if we just have an adjective in mind without any kind of noun? So what if an English-speaking person asks a Slovenian-speaking person, hey, how do you say rich in Slovenian? Rich is an adjective. Well, in that case, sexist as it may be, Slovenian considers the masculine one as the base form. And there's also kind of a pragmatic reason for that, and that is that the masculine version of the adjective is the shortest one. So the feminine is a letter longer, and the neuter one is also a letter longer. So the masculine plus 1 letter plus the letter A is feminine, and plus the letter O or E is neuter. So yeah, with adjectives, the base form is masculine. Now, moving on to number, this is pretty self-evident. Like in English, we kind of view dog as the original and dogs as a different version, and this is the same in Slovenian. So the base form is considered the singular of something, one of something, and the dual and plural only come later. Now, when it comes to case, the nominative, we said in past lessons, we said that the nominative is the name case. Literally, nomen, N-O-M-E-N, means name in Latin. And so the nominative is the name case, and we said case kind of means version, so it's the version of a word that is the actual name of something, be it the name of a person, someone's actual name, or kind of the name of an object, kind of what we call an object. So this table is miza in Slovenian. So miza would be kind of the name of a table in Slovenian. So the base form is the nominative case. And in the Slovenian case system, they always go from 1 to 6. Number 1 is the nominative, and that is the only case that is not a case in practice, we said in past lessons. It's the only case that's not a case in practice. It is the original, so to speak. Or you can think of it, when it comes to things, it is the word itself. It's the word itself, and when it comes to people, it is someone's actual name. So that's in fact one of the main functions of the nominative case. It has other ones as well, but one of the main things that we use the nominative for is the base form. So dictionary entries, lists of words, and so on, chances are they are in the nominative case. And so when it comes to base form and nouns, we said it's always singular, it's always nominative, and then whatever gender that nouns happens to be. It can be masculine, feminine, or neuter. And then we said with adjectives, it's singular and nominative, and actually it is masculine. The masculine form is considered the base one. It's considered to be kind of the starting point. And so we're only left with the world of verbs. And verbs also have a base form, we said. So with nouns, we kind of just took what was already there. So we had gender and number and case, and we kind of, with adjectives, we kind of took a gender and a number and a case and said, let's agree, this is the base form, this is the word itself. So it would make sense for us with verbs to just take a number and a person and also agree on a base form. But it's not the way it works with verbs. With verbs, the base form is a specific, a separate and a specific verb form specifically for that. So we have an entire kind of, the base form is basically a category of its own, kind of. And so we have a form that is a personless and numberless form. So there's no person and there's no number, and we call that the infinitive. So the infinitive is the base form of a verb. It is the personless, numberless base form of verbs. And English has the infinitive too, but in English, of course, the difference is slight. The infinitive is to go, and then we have I go, you go, we go, they go. It's right. It's the same thing. It's just go, 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 pretty much all the time. So the infinitive, it's very important to know or to think of the infinitive as having two parts. One is the ending. Ending is just fancy for last letter. It can be the last letter or the last two letters or the last three letters. But the ending is the last letter of a word that has a grammatical function. Has nothing to do with the meaning. Usually, nothing to do with the meaning of the word. It just has to do with grammar. And then we have what comes before the ending, and we call that the stem. So the ending in Slovenian with the infinitive of verbs is the vast majority of the time a ti, Very rarely it's chi rather than ti, but ti is the main one to remember right now. And so here we have three examples of the infinitive. For example, delati, which we can break down to dela plus ti, which is to work, or razumeti, which is to understand, which we can break down to razume plus ti, and to speak, which is govoriti, which we can think of as govori plus ti. Now, thinking of infinitives in terms of a stem and an ending is extremely important and will make our life much easier, or even just easy, in fact, when we come to conjugating verbs. And conjugating verbs means saying I go, you go, he, she goes. That's conjugating verbs. And the way we conjugate verbs in Slovenian is we change the ending. So we will replace the ti with a different letter or letters, and that's how we get a different form of a particular verb. But we'll do all of that when we reach verbs. So what is the point of all of this? We've been going on and on about the base form. What's the point of it all? Well, it's really just so that we can use the following kind of a phrase or sentence, like so that we can say if the word is in its base form in our lessons, so that we could say if the word is in its base form, and that we could all be on the same page and know what we mean by that. And what we mean by that, if we review one more time, with nouns is singular, nominative, whatever gender the noun happens to be. With adjectives, singular, nominative, and masculine. And with pronouns, we haven't mentioned those yet, it's always nominative, but then the number and the gender is whatever that pronoun happens to be. And with verbs, we said the base form is the infinitive. And so if we go back to our three important questions when trying to decipher Slovenian and make a kind of order out of chaos, then we have what is the base form of a particular word we're dealing with, and then what is this form that I'm looking at right now, and why is it in this form. And next time we will try answering this question. So we'll move from theory to practice and try showing how we can actually find out the base form of a particular word we come across. Thank you for making it through one more dry and pretty grammar heavy lesson. I hope this is all proving useful. I hope you're making good progress on your Slovenian journey, and thank you for watching, and take care.